One of the things I can't get over is the fucking backsliding that's been happening in this country. I've never seen anything like it. And in fact, perhaps I was naive because I thought that it could never happen to this extent, to this degree that we're witnessing. I was under the delusion that the moral arc of history is long, but it bends towards justice. And that's just fundamentally not true. That shit can bend whatever direction it is forced to bend. And that's what we're witnessing right now. Take a look at this. This is from More Perfect Union. Companies are increasingly trapping workers with a move that looks a lot like indentured servitude. The company will pay for training. Then when you want to leave the job, the corporation will say you owe thousands of dollars for that training unless you stay on the job. Yeah, that isn't just like indentured servitude. That's just indentured servitude. And it's also fraud. That's fraudulent. If they tell you, oh, we'll pay for your training up front, and then on the back end they go, you owe us for the training, that's fraud. They lied to you. So, I hope there's a fucking massive lawsuit over this, but here they continue. The following article, this is a Jacobin article, by the way. Everybody go read the whole thing. But the following article describes a nurse who switched to a better paying job at a nearby hospital, only to wind up with debt collectors at her door demanding she pay her former employer back for a loan she didn't know she owed. And a cargo pilot who faced a $20,000 lawsuit over job training expenses at a commercial airline that had just fired him for refusing to fly a plane under unsafe conditions. These are examples of how millions of workers across the country are increasingly finding themselves bound by training repayment agreement provisions, or TRAPs. Well, that's fucking ominous, isn't it? Training repayment agreement provisions. Jesus. Many of these provisions are illegal, but doing something about it requires regulators to fight corporate abuse. California's Attorney General recently got a $1.53 million settlement when they stood up for trapped workers. In Colorado, PetSmart is trapping workers with yet another trap scheme, but regulators there are fighting back too. And then it says here, Colorado is suing PetSmart for using dog grooming school to trap workers. PetSmart ads claim that its grooming academy was free. In reality, it costs up to $5,500. The company held these costs over workers' heads, using the money to coerce them into staying at the job. The state of Colorado sued PetSmart on Tuesday, accusing the national pet store chain of tricking 106 of its Colorado employees into enrolling into a supposedly free dog grooming school and then sending collection agencies after them when they left for another job. This is what I'm talking about with the backsliding. Remember, guys, and we talked about this on the show, they are literally bringing back child labor in a bunch of red states. Literally. Signing legislation to bring back child labor. I never thought in my fucking lifetime we'd see that happen, right? Never in a million years. Never in a million years did I think we'd see like the Death Star law coming out of Texas, where they say, if you happen to be in a city or a town in Texas that passes a higher minimum wage or better regulations like protections for extreme heat and mandating work breaks, we're just going to ban all that. We're going to roll that back. Any regulation passed by any town or city in Texas, it's null and void. So you can't, even at the state level, even at the local level, you can't try to improve your situation because the state of Texas is going to interject and go, we're shutting that down. We're going to side with the businesses over the workers in every single scenario. And so those are just two examples of how people roll back the clock. I mean, we nearly cut child poverty by 50% during COVID, and then we just let that go away. We let it fucking sunset. And that's crazy. Like, we actively went in the wrong direction. And then this is the same shit. So now you have corporations, they're so high on their own supply. They got all their tax breaks in the world. They got all the subsidies in the world. Their fucking corporate revenues are through the fucking roof, right? The profit margins are going wild. All the while the workers are struggling. And what do? They bring back a new form of indentured servitude. And of course, they get there through fraud, through lies, fucking misleading people to the max. And then they get them hooked in this shit. And, look, all we have is at the state level, like blue states stepping in and going, okay, we're gonna have to correct this. Because you think the federal government's going to do that? You think the Department of Justice, under these fucking dipshits and nimrods, you think they're going to step in on your behalf and say, oh, we'll protect you. You got caught in some indentured servitude scam. We got your back. They don't give a fuck. You think Pam Bondi is going to step in? Oh, we'll help you. No, she's on the side of the corporations. What are we talking about? And this is the fucking hell world that we live in right now, dog. This is the hell world that we live in right now. I remember, it was a real slap in the face and a real wake-up call when the Republicans came out and said, one of our top priorities if we win back Congress, is to ban free school lunch for kids. So at the state level, a lot of blue states were doing free school lunch for kids. The Republicans were saying, we want to ban that at the federal level. And then, of course, they get in there. What do? They pass the big bullshit bill, adds $4 trillion to the debt and the deficit, cuts taxes for the rich, raises it on the working class, cuts Medicaid $800 billion, kicks 17 million people off their health care, raises out-of-pocket costs, reduce coverage for poor and disabled people, cuts 3 million people off food stamps. It does cut free lunch in schools, kicks millions of people off Obamacare, and the list goes on and on. This is what they do. They are a wrecking ball. They are a wrecking ball. And these people are there to destroy anything and everything this government does that's good, which is why you had Elon Musk and Donald Trump cut pediatric cancer research, cut Meals on Wheels, cut the flight safety officials, they got rid of the daily food safety inspections. Imagine that. They go, don't worry about it. Let the corporations do whatever they want. Last time we had that scenario, it was Upton Sinclair, The Jungle. Go read that book if you don't know what I'm talking about. You don't want a fucking referee to make sure, hey, is this food safe? Is this food clean? But this is where we are. This is where we are. So everybody rejoice because indentured servitude is back. And honestly, we shouldn't even be that surprised because I remember, as I'm sure many of you guys do, Nestle, I believe it was Nestle. Was it Hershey's or Nestle? I think it was Nestle. There was a Supreme Court case that, that was brought all the way to the top, and you had the Supreme Court rule that, hey, we know that this chocolate company, I think it was Nestle, is using slave labor overseas, but there's really nothing we can do about that, so we're going to go ahead and let it stand. I'm not kidding. It was a decision that basically allowed U.S. companies to exploit slave labor under the guise of, what are you going to do? It's in a different country. The chain of business goes so far down that what are we supposed to do as the U.S. Supreme Court? There's nothing we can do, so it is what it is. So that's a Supreme Court decision that went, slavery? It is what it is. Soon as we saw that, we should have known all bets are off, bro. If that can be the case today, well, of course they could bring back indentured servitude on some sly shit, and that's exactly what we're witnessing. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.